Hello, and welcome to In the Court of the Wenton King. And today, we are reviewing... I forgot what I was going to say. There was something I was going to say. I thought about it and I've forgotten by the time we got here. Never mind. What are we reviewing?
Stormwatch by Jethro Tull.
By Tull. And yeah, it's the third in the folk trilogy. Oh no, it's the third in the trilogy. Third in the trilogy is always, Lodger.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was the...
and Lodger is a... And we've found the third in the trilogy thing, Return of the Jedi. It's not really a thing. It's just because it's the third one. So if you saw it first, if you saw Return of the Jedi first,
You'd love it.
You'd love it. I don't know about Lodger, maybe, but it's psychological because we do the three albums, and when you get to the third one, it's always a bit. However, I think this is more calculated than they let on, and I think they knew there was a folk trilogy. He knew there was a folk trilogy because the way he says it is just making songs. These are the next songs. People are saying, "Oh, it's folk now," and it always was folk. It's it's like he says, it's not really. It was all folk, but it's folk window dressing in a prog rock shopfront. That's what he said. It's country fantasy was the first one, followed by rustic farming horror in the second one. But this actually doesn't fit with those albums at all. That's the clever thing. It's not really the third in the folk trilogy. It's just the next Jethro Tull album, and this has much more of the traits of previous Tull as well. I don't see this fitting with those two albums any more than Aqualung or something or whatever. It sounds like 70s Jethro Tull. Now you can argue that's good bad because it's like an amalgamation of the 70s of the Tull. That's how I think about it. I think the rock is back, and that's not a coincidence. The weird thing is that. They had this little bit of a return in fortunes, possibly because of the Christmas single with Songs from the Wood, and they were still playing stadiums and stuff, and they had this satellite concert at Madison Square Gardens, of course, which was transmitted to millions of people, and you would think that would see a return in their fortunes. You'd think they can't go wrong if they've had that concert go out. They should be massive again, and actually they weren't, which is really strange. And I think this is a calculated attempt at doing something more rock again. There's riffs, there's guitar, the opening song on side 2, Something's on the Move, which is not actually much of a memorable song as the album goes. It has a riff. It starts with a riff. It could be an Aqualung, The green gardening sound of the previous two is gone, replaced by freezing winter north Skyrim, but in the sea. The bit in Skyrim when you go in the sea? It's kind of like that, but it's like bigger with cliffs and the North Sea crashing against black as midnight cliffs. And an old boat that, heavier, riffier, but still as complex as the previous two. So it's not as simple, it's not like they've gone back to Aqualung and it's simple. It's still got the complexity, but it's heavier. Best of all worlds. Which is that a compromise? Don't know. So some people say it's the definitive Tull album. The band don't say that because of the situation where they weren't getting on quite as well, and it was just the next album, and also of course, sadly, John Glascock's. It's his final album, sadly. So that's probably how they remember it. But by fans, it's much loved. And again, this is why it was so difficult to choose from those three, because they're all different in that trilogy. There's all different reasons for choosing each of those three. The only thing missing is like a context. Even Aqualung's got a context, and obviously, Thick as a Brick and whatever have got that context, and even Minstrel, this doesn't quite have that. There is obviously a concept in the normal sense of an album with a general ecological concept. But North and Snow and stuff, there's no prog-like novelty to hang it onto. It's just some songs, which makes it less accessible, I suppose. So right now, I'm preferring this to the other two. But that doesn't mean anything, because I'll just change my mind tomorrow. They're all good.
I mean, when you look at an album, you got to look at sort of like, okay, there's the music, and then there's the sort of barriers to
the music,
to enjoying the music,
or the lack of doors which invite you in.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's a great cover. That invites you in. That does. That that is success. That is a good cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sufficiently different to horses and stuff.
Yeah, I want to listen to this. Track 1, North Sea Oil. What? I mean, that doesn't sell it, Track 1 does not sell it very well. Who wants a song about North Sea Oil? Yeah?
And then they had another load of containers.
13 barrels. La la la.
15 million. And the graph went like this.
Yeah, and actually the back's pretty shit as well. Okay, polar bear, great. Whatever.
Yeah, Cover's good.
Cover's good. The fact that I'm talking about the cover should give you a little inkling as to what I think of this album. It didn't win me back, It's really weird. Yeah, Heavy Horses is this big album which I should like. I enjoy Jethro Tull, Aqualung, all the ones we've done. With the exception of Heavy Horses, I've come back to and I've enjoyed. And Minstrel was my gateway into that. Mm-hmm. And then Heavy Horses we come back to and I'm like, And then I'm hoping, let's go. Let's get back on the wagon. Mm-hmm. And it is sort of, you're right. There's a rockiness to it, but I don't know. There's that frivolity I was going on about in Heavy Horses that was missing. That's not back because it is quite a dark.
Yes, it's dark. It is a dark album again.
Yeah. Although Warm Sporran, that's a good title. Okay, cool. And there's not, even though you say it's riffy, I don't think they're great riffs, or they're not. Okay, maybe I like the more accessible Jethro Tull.
Yes.
Maybe I'm listening to it on a different level to you, and the riffs aren't that sort of.
And you are only having a week.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the people saying this is the best album are people. I've had 20 years.
That's it. I mean,
most people have had 40 years to listen to Aqualung. So they need, they're going to get bored of it, aren't they? It's the Led Zeppelin 2 effect. Led Zeppelin 4 effect, isn't it, with Aqualung? Very much so. Once you know every little sound on it, it's kind of, you need more. And
it is weird, isn't it? You do get these albums which, from the perspective of their construction and their writing, are really, really good, yet don't have the... There's like... it does something to the character, I think. The character of the album. It's sort of something too polished.
Too proggy.
It's not... You can't... It's difficult to embrace. Something that's too good. You kind of embrace the flaws.
Yeah, I mean, when you think Thick as a Brick, it was a leap in complexity actually, but it's actually quite simple compared to this.
Yeah.
But it's really accessible.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing thing. And obviously the ridiculousness of it, it's just 20 minutes, it just carries on. It's fantastic. And that doesn't have that. It doesn't have that novelty factor.
Yeah.
What the hell? And it's brilliant, You're right, there's a silliness. It's silly, isn't it? And that's not there. This is very serious Jethro Tull for serious Tull fans. Folk,
well, you get the sense maybe he's taking himself a little bit too seriously, I mean, that was a nice thing. He's not taking himself seriously. This sounds seriously. I can pull off the Northern Norse god type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, I found it a little bit unsatisfying, if I'm honest. But it wasn't horrific.
So did it feel like Jethro Tulling?
It did a little bit, yeah. With the exception of that vibrancy, that silliness, yeah.
Yeah.
I really miss it. Bring it back, please.
He has said, and I think to a certain extent disingenuously a bit, that doing songs from the wood, just that song in 1977 in the winter of punk, isn't a commercial decision to make. Maybe he's more guarded. So there's no codpiece, none of that. He's not wearing these ridiculous shoulder padded shiny costumes and all that. He's still being ridiculous, but he wears a kilt and stuff now. So maybe he's taking himself more seriously. This is what I have embraced. This is me. I'm important, and maybe that's reflected in there.
Yeah. Well, I should imagine, when you're a young upstart musician, personality's all you got. When you've sold, a couple of million albums or whatever, personality not so important anymore.
Yes. And he's now a much better musician.
He is. He's a really good musician.
Yeah, and his flute playing's getting better. I think really got better in the 80s, but even here it's got a lot better than 1971. And that's the thing. You're not going to hear... There's loads of flute on there. You're not going to hear that stuff, and that's a shame. But I mean, a band formed in 1968... you can compare them directly to Led Zeppelin. Even their trajectory and everything is very, very comparable. That's a hell of a lot better than In Through the Outdoor. So,
Yeah, that's true.
But I think it's calculated because he saw that coming. I think the fail of 1978 of all these terrible albums by all these bands. For some reason, he avoided it. He just said, "No, I'm not doing that now." We are Tull. We are Jethro Tull.
I'll give you that.
He's giving it back now. Yeah.
It's like the conch.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the special edition of this because I'm hoping there's going to be maybe some soundboard live stuff, maybe mixed by Jacko. That'll be very cool. I'm looking forward to that. And also, the thing we're doing next week, I don't own because I'm waiting for the special edition of that. So maybe, and I've never heard it. That's coming next week as well. But yeah, anyway, like I said, John Glascock. It's his last album with Tull. Half the bass on here is played by Ian Anderson. Sadly, I nearly said John Anderson because he was ill and all that. But it's actually the end of this band. This is the last album by this band. They actually toured with Dave Pegg for this tour. I think though stylistically as well there's a change. I don't just mean because it went into the 80s. There's kind of 3 Jethro Tulls. One of the biographies said there's 4, but it doesn't quite make sense. I think there's 3. There's there's the band on the first album, the Mick Abrams band, who all left, and then there's the band on the second album, Stand Up, who are actually Ian Anderson's mates from Blackpool who were in a band before that. And that's essentially this band right the way through, all the classic stuff. And then after that it changes, which we'll talk about next week, I think. It would have been interesting to hear what things would have been like had they all stayed. It's one of those things where they didn't talk to each other and management told them things and they thought they'd been kicked out and Ian thought they'd stormed off and all that stuff. But we'll talk about that next week. And I think it's a 5-egg album.
4 eggs for me.
4 eggs? There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, so we are doing one more.
It's been a long time since we've done 4 album run.
It is, yeah. This is the disadvantage of Patreon is that if one person requests 2 albums and another person requests 2 more albums, that's 4 albums together. Never mind.
They're gaming the system.
But our Tull reviews seem to get a lot of views, so that's good.
Yeah.
So we'll do what you want. We're going to be the Bee Gees.
Yeah. Right then. Till next week.
Yeah. Goodbye.